Due to the deposition taking place remotely, the parties will stipulate that the court reporter may swear in the witness over Zoom virtual video conferencing, and the witness has verified that he is in fact Chandler Pittman.
All right. The deposition is being taken pursuant to notice and agreement for all purposes under the Civil Practice Act, including use at trial. And before we get started, Mr. Pittman, I want to let you know that we respect what you and your organization do. And there's nothing personal against you or your organization by virtue of this deposition. Our client was hurt very badly in a car accident, and we're just trying to make her whole again. And that's exactly why VEO has auto insurance. So I guess if we could swear in the witness and we'll get started.
Please raise your right hand, Mr. Pittman. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Will you please state your full name for the record?
Chandler Wayne Pittman.
And sir, how long have you been with VEO?
Since March of this year.
And what is your role with VEO?
Director of Operations.
And have you held the role of Director of Operations since you started with the company?
Yes, sir.
Who held that role before you?
Tyler Bowser.
So was Tyler Bowser the Director of Operations at the time of Miss Altman's car wreck?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. What responsibilities come along with being the Director of Operations?
So overseeing the security program, food services, IT, campus operations, and safety.
Do you manage other employees?
Yes.
And do you supervise other employees?
Yes.
Is part of your role to investigate car wrecks involving VEO vehicles?
Objective form.
So your attorney may object from time to time, but unless he instructs you not to answer, then you could always answer the question. And so I'll just ask it again for the record. Is part of your
objection, you can answer the question.
Is part of your role to investigate car wrecks involving VEO vehicles?
If it happened while I was here, yes, sir.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the part of VEO's business that involves moving property from one place to another. So I guess first of all, is part of VEO's business picking up and delivering furniture?
Objective form.
No, we accept donations, but our business isn't moving furniture. No, sir.
Okay. Well, so is part of what VEO does pick up furniture from one place and then deliver it to another place?
Objective form.
Yeah, we receive donations.
So, and when you say donations, you mean furniture and household goods?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you use VEO uses its trucks to move those household goods to another place.
Objective form. And counsel, the objection is to it's vague as to time. I'm not sure it's the same now as it may have been at the time of the accident. That's why I'm objecting.
Okay.
This is Shannon, the court reporter. Someone's notification is on, and I missed the end of that question.
Okay,
Sure.
Give me a moment and see if I can fix that before we continue.
Sure, we can take it.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Pittman, the original question was whether part of VEO's business involves picking up donations, which consist of furniture and household goods, and taking that furniture and household goods to another place.
Objective form.
Yeah, so at that time, we did receive donations. We no longer go out to get them. We only take them if they're dropped off.
Okay. How many trucks does VO have in its fleet?
Objective form.
3.
And how many trucks did it have in its fleet at the time of Miss Altman's car wreck?
I think
Objective form.
3.
Okay. And does VO have any other vehicles?
2 cargo vans or passenger vans, excuse me.
Okay. And do you understand that we're here today because of a car wreck that happened on January 5th, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Was Edward Davis driving one of VO's trucks that was involved in the wreck?
Objective form.
I think so.
Now, VEO's box trucks are commercial motor vehicles, right?
Objective form.
Yes, sir.
And they're pretty big trucks, aren't they?
I mean, they're bring size box trucks.
Okay. If the drivers of these trucks don't operate them safely, that puts other people on the road at risk.
Objective.
Doesn't it?
Objective form. I'm going to instruct him not to answer that question.
On what basis, sir?
That the question is not like reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
That's not a proper objection. The only basis for instructing a witness not to answer, as I'm sure you're aware, is attorney-client privilege. And this question doesn't come close to invading attorney-client privilege. So I'll ask you the question again, sir.
Before you ask the question again, I want to make the record clear. If you're asking general questions about the safety of the community and those types of questions that are targeted to inflame the passion of the jury and are not case specific to this case, I'm going to instruct him not to answer. I don't think it's reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence, and I will instruct him not to answer on that.
You can't instruct a witness not to answer because you don't think a question is relevant. That's not a proper objection, and if we have to, we can get the judge on the phone. But I'm going to ask this question, and I'm entitled to an answer. This is a totally proper question.
This is Mike Johnson for Arch. I join in the objection to this question.
Mr. Pittman, if the drivers of these trucks, VEO's trucks, don't operate them safely, that puts other people on the road at risk, doesn't it?
Object to the question on the same basis and instruct him not to answer.
All right,
Objection.
we're going to take a break. All right. So I'll just say on the record, Mr. Nelson, we're going to play this video deposition at trial. If you want to instruct your witness not to answer a perfectly acceptable question, then that's fine by us.
Okay, and to be clear for the record, the reason I instructed the witness not to answer is that this witness is not a 30B6 witness for the VEO organization. He wasn't an employee on the day of the incident. The question is not related to any facts specific to this case, and it is one of those reptile theory improper questions that seek to talk about community safety and general ideas of community safety, which is not a proper argument for a jury. And whenever you ask that type of question during this deposition, I will instruct them not to answer. I think I'm on good ground to do so. And so those questions are not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
And for the record, we disagree with everything that you just said, but we'll get it on the record and get it on the video, and if the judge will make a decision later. So I'm going to ask this question one more time, Mr. Pittman. If drivers of these VEO trucks don't operate them safely, that puts other people on the road at risk, doesn't it?
Objective form, instruct them not to answer.
Join the objection.
Mr. Pittman, are you going to follow the advice of your lawyer and Arch Insurance Company's lawyer and refuse to answer this question?
Yes.
Does VEO expect its drivers like Mr. Davis to drive safely?
Yes.
What does VEO do to make sure that its drivers are driving safely?
Well, we do road tests where, when I started, we had approved drivers, make sure they're approved, run the MVR and background check, as well as we'll do a road test with them. Like as they go pick something up, we're riding the car to make sure they're obeying traffic laws and all this stuff.
Okay. Does VEO provide its drivers with its own written policies or procedures about driving box trucks safely?
No, sir.
Does VEO provide its drivers with a handbook or guide about driving commercial motor vehicles?
No, sir.
Does VEO provide its drivers with safety guidebooks from respected third parties like J.J. Keller?
No, sir.
Does VEO provide its drivers with videos about safe driving from VEO or from any other source?
No, sir.
Does VEO bring in commercial driving instructors to help its drivers learn to operate their truck safely?
No, sir.
Now, does VEO send its drivers to any kind of driving course?
No, sir.
Do you agree that drivers such as Mr. Davis should keep a proper lookout?
Objective form.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Will you agree that drivers such as Mr. Davis should look both ways before making a turn?
Objective form.
Yes, sir.
And that's to make sure that there aren't any other cars coming, right?
Objective form.
Yes.
Will you agree that a driver making a left-hand turn has to yield to oncoming traffic?
Objective form.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now, I'd like to share my screen and show you some documents from the lawyers at VEO and Arch Insurance Company that they sent to us. And while I'm pulling these up, I'll ask you, are you familiar with requests for admission?
No.
Okay. Can you see? Let me.
It says started sharing steering.
Let me redo this. Sorry. All right. Can you see Plaintiff's Exhibit 7 on your screen?
Yes.
So a request for admission is where one party makes a statement and then the other party is supposed to admit it or deny it. You can see these are VEO's responses to plaintiff's first request for admission.
Yes.
And I want to look at the first request. Do you see where it says, quote, Edward Davis was at fault for the collision on January 5th, 2021?
Yes.
And do you see where VEO responded denied?
Yes, sir.
This is Mike Johnson for Arch. I want to state an objection as we go down this line. I think this witness has been identified not as a 30v6 witness. And I think you need to lay a foundation first, whether this witness had any involvement in drafting the responses or providing the responses to these questions, and whether or not he's qualified to testify on behalf of the company with regard to the responses.
Okay.
I'll join in the objection. But so far, the question was just, can you see it? So I haven't objected, but I will oppose the same objection with regard to any questions regarding the admissions on behalf of or denials on behalf of VEO.
Okay. Now, sir, I'm going to go to the last page. Do you see VEO's lawyer's signature on this page?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that Edward Davis was at fault for causing the collision?
Objection. Lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Do you know when this collision was?
I think January 5th.
Have you looked into this wreck at any point during the time between January 5th and right now?
No, sir.
Who at VEO did that?
Objective form.
I think it would have been our Don Gibson over at Human Resources.
Did you know that this lawsuit was filed on April 12th, 2021?
I did not.
Well, we scheduled this deposition back in mid-July, right?
Objective form.
I can't recall the date, but
It's been about 2 months, so that you knew that this deposition was happening.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know a deposition was happening, yes, sir.
Have you reached any conclusion about who caused this wreck?
No, sir.
Objective form.
Joe.
And don't you think that's important?
Objective form.
Objective form.
That's argumentative.
Well, it happened before I got here, and he wasn't driving when I got here, and we no longer have transportation services, so I didn't really look into it.
Does Edward Davis still work for VEO?
Yes, sir.
Was he suspended or disciplined in any way?
Objective form.
I'm not sure.
Did VEO allow Mr. Davis to drive trucks after this wreck?
Objective form.
I'm not sure.
Did VEO require Mr. Davis to undergo any additional training
I'm not
after the
sure.
wreck? Does VEO have a written policy for investigating car wrecks?
We have an incident report that would apply for any type of incident.
Other than the incident report, is there any written policy about what VEO is supposed to do to investigate a car wreck?
Objective form.
No, sir.
What did VEO do to investigate the car wreck that brings us here today?
Objective form.
I'm not sure.
You have no idea what VEO did to investigate the car wreck that brings us here today for this deposition?
No, sir.
Objective form. Lacks foundation. Asked and answered.
Do you know if VEO did anything to determine who caused the wreck?
Objective
Objective
form.
form.
I'm not sure.
Are you aware of any evidence that Miss Altman did anything wrong?
Objective form. The witness has testified he didn't investigate the accident. He's not a 30B6, and he's had no involvement in determining who's at fault. So I object to the continued questions about things in which he's already stated to you with clear answers that he is without knowledge.
Mr. Johnson, I'll request that you stop testifying for the witness and instructing him how to answer.
I'm not directing him how to answer. I'm stating an objection on multiple grounds. Thank you.
He's already answered and said he has no knowledge and he wasn't present at the time, so I don't think he's getting any instructions, and I join the objection.
Did you know that Mr. Davis told the police that Miss Altman was not speeding?
Objective form.
Objective form.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sir.
No, I didn't know.
Let's share another exhibit with you. Can you see plaintiff's exhibit 1 on your screen?
Yes.
Do you see on plaintiff's exhibit 1 where it says Davis, comma, Edward Jerome?
Yes, sir.
And do you see right under his name, it says offense and says 40-6-71 and then failure to yield turning left?
Yes, I see it.
And then under that, it says the issue date was January 5th, 2021.
Yes.
Now, do you see under disposition, it says conviction and bond forfeiture?
Yes, sir, I see it.
Okay. Did you know that Mr. Davis had been convicted of failing to yield in this wreck?
Objective form.
I did not know that.
Does the certified conviction marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, change your response to the question. Was Mr. Davis at fault for this wreck?
Objective form, lacks foundation.
Objective form.
No, it doesn't change my answer.
Okay. No further questions.
I have a few questions. This is with Mike Johnson for Arch Insurance Company. Mr. Pittman, what kind of business is your company in?
Veterans Empowerment Organizations, a nonprofit founded to support homeless vets or vets in need of employment or resources to get back on their feet so they're self-sustainable.
And how does your company do that?
Through various charitable donations, grants, partnerships with the VA, and partnerships with other nonprofits in Atlanta.
And do you know what a trucking company is versus how your business operates?
Objection vague.
Well, I'll back it up. Do you know what a trucking company is?
Yes.
All right. And with regard to a trucking company that gets paid by someone to transport their goods, does your company get paid by anybody to transport the goods of others for them?
Objection leading.
No, sir.
Is your company willing to be hired out if I want to move some furniture or household goods that I have and I want to deliver it to another residence? Can I hire you to do that for me?
No, sir.
When you pick up what you referred to previously was furniture and some household goods, you said that there was a donation that was given to your company?
Yeah, this when we go pick up anything, we're going to pick up donations.
And when you pick up a donation, is that property that you're picking up, is it donated, the ownership of that property donated to your company?
Yes, sir.
Are you free to give the property that you then own to these vets you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
And does the person who's making the donation to you, do they pay you for transporting any of that furniture?
No, sir.
Do you ask them to pay for it, but they just simply refuse, or you don't ask them?
We don't ask them.
And when you're transporting the donated goods to your company, do you have a warehouse or storage area where you bring them back to?
We don't have a warehouse. We'll use a storage shed or a vacant unit until we find a place for it.
Does anyone pay you for storing those goods in that vacant unit?
No, sir.
Do you try and charge anybody for storing those goods in the vacant unit?
No, sir.
And when you find someone to give the donations to, are these the veterans that you're speaking about that you provide these donations to?
Yes, sir.
Do they pay you for those donations that you've delivered to them?
No, sir.
Do the trucks that you're driving in, are these trucks owned by the company you work for?
Yes, sir.
So from the time you pick up a donation to the time you store it to the time you deliver it, is there any point in time during that entire period where someone is paying you to transport goods for them to others?
No, sir.
You were asked various questions about this accident. Were you ever charged with any duty or responsibility to investigate this accident and make any determinations as to responsibility for the accident?
No, sir.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
No further questions from the plaintiff.
Does the witness want to read and sign?
Yes, please. We'll take an electronic PDF bundle and we'll allow the witness to read and sign, and I'll ask that all counsel agree that he can remain under oath so he doesn't have to go to a reporter for purposes of signing.
No objection.
No objection.